faster than a speeding bullet.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
More powerful than a locomotive.
Hulk! Smash!
Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
There's more to them than meets the eye.
It's Superman!
I love the dead before they're cold. The bluing flesh for me to hold. Cadaver eyes upon me see nothing. Dead before they rise. No farewells, no goodbyes. I never even knew your now rotting face. While friends and lovers mourn your silly grave, I have other uses for you, darling.
ghouls and ghouls. Welcome to Chuckles Crypt here on Rhode Island Free Radio, and we are in the month of November. Most people would say big flipping deal, but November 1st to me, George Garner, is a big deal.
Now, I know October is a big deal because of the obvious
Of course,
holiday.
Halloween.
Right.
But I'm going to take this whole month, and I'm going to take this celebration called the Day of the Dead, and we are going to go on nothing but zombies, from comics to movies, you name it, all month long. Not just 2 segues, the whole month, because I figured there is way too much of that to cover in 2 shows.
Okay, as long as nobody asks me while we're doing this where I think I would be during a zombie apocalypse. As long as nobody asks me that.
In the words of a very famous friend of mine, I would be inside a Walmart. Be all set. Now, we're going to go right down to the fathers, the godfathers of the zombie movies, because we can go even further back and go into the African religion of zombies.
That's basically the first thing we have to deal with is what do we mean by a zombie nowadays, right? I mean, we have the George Romero flesh-eating zombie that's all the rage, but like you said, it's been around a long time in different forms.
Voodoo, biggest form of zombieism. I think that's where they get it from.
Yep.
Pretty sure that's
that
where
was the original.
Idea. But I'm talking about the flesh-eating ones, not the ones that turn into the 28 days later run at you biological zombies. I'm not into those.
Okay.
I'm talking about either slow-moving piles of goo or fast-moving reanimated piles of goo that are going to mess your day up.
But basically, back from the dead is the crucial difference here.
That is.
That's why we're not using biologics. We're going with just strictly flesh-eating back from the dead zombies.
And this is perfect, because November 1st is Day of the Dead. What better than a theme about the dead all month long? And feasting. Zombies love to feast, so do we.
Good point. Now, do we have to tell maybe a few of our listeners what exactly the Day of the Dead is? I know you're aware of it. Why don't you give a couple of words about exactly what the Feast of the Day of the Dead is?
Day of the Dead is celebrating your ancestors coming back to Earth for one time only, using what they call them, sugar skulls that they would use. They would put alcohol a little bit in, and a certain portion of it would vaporize going to the spirits, which they thought they'd be drinking it. They'd have parades where they would actually put their loved ones on carts and march them down the streets.
The rotted corpses of their loved ones.
Yep, and march them down the streets or dig them up and put them on a porch and put stuff around them, offerings.
Hopefully scented candles, because these things probably smelled pretty rank after being disinterred.
Maybe you know better. I can't remember the name of the saint because I'm not really into the whole church thing that this comes from. But there is a lot of religious backs into this. Christianity religion behind it.
Catholicism. Now, we're talking when we're talking about where this takes place, this is Mexico, if I remember correctly, right?
And it's a mixture right now. It's kind of like Halloween with us. Like Halloween is a mixture of all cultures. So is the Day of the Dead. It's a mixture of the Incas and the Aztecs and the Mexicans cult coming in, and you have Day of the Dead. So each person takes bits and pieces of it. Well, I'm taking my bits and pieces of it, and I'm going to the zombie flesh eating. I mean, that would be awesome to celebrate something like that. Don't you agree?
Oh, I agree completely. I mean, basically, Mexico, Central America, they have a proud tradition. I mean, we started off back in the day, the far day, with the Aztecs cutting out the human heart of victims on altars, and we've proceeded up to disinterring your rotted relative or loved one and propping them up in a chair so that you can get one good look at them.
I tell you,
one good more smell, too.
We're going to get into some really creative stuff of that, because when you get into the South American countries, the way that they celebrate or mourn the dead, we look at it and say that's disgusting. But to them, it's as normal as going out for a Sunday night picnic as it is to go visit your dead grandparents that are mummified and hanging from the side of a cliff.
Well, it'd be just as silly to some cultures the fact that we bury our dead relatives in the United States in coffins that cost, $5 or $10 for a good one, bury them in the cemetery, and then so that they don't rot under the ground, and then go visit them and talk to them.
Right. You really would.
That's pretty bizarre in itself.
Now, we can't talk about zombies without bringing up the man of the zombie flicks, And you can go ahead and argue all the facts you want.
There is no arguing, Chuckles. If you're about to say the man I think you are about to say, there is no arguing with. No.
And I've met this gentleman countless times, and George Romero is the man for zombie flicks. Hands down, there's no one out there that I think personally will be able to beat him, because he was the first. And that movie revolutionized movies, monster movies altogether.
Basically, he created the concept and patented it. I mean, it's got his name on it.
Everybody takes little bits and pieces of his movie and adds it to theirs. I haven't seen one that has not used something from his flick to put their zombie movie together.
Right. They rely on putting a new twist on his ideas, but they're always his ideas at heart. And when we're talking about George Romero, too, now he's made a few movies since, but to me, when we talk about flesh-eating zombies, it's the Trinity. Night of the original, and we always mean the original here.
Yep.
When we're talking
Night
about
of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead, yep. Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead was incredible, and I get a story to get back to that, too. But George Romero, to me, like, I know he made other movies out there, like Martin, really good. Was it The Witches? What's the other one?
Season of the Witch.
Season of the Witch. That was a really good movie. But the one that will always stand out will be Night of the Living Dead. Unfortunately, though, Romero made a grave mistake in movie history that I swear no one to this day will probably make twice.
A mistake in the movie itself, or in his approach,
a mistake
in his marketing?
And after he was done with it, making the poor mistake and not copywriting that.
Which is why it shows up in 14,000 different media outlets every Halloween.
And anybody can have some sort of version of that in their movie, and they can't get sued.
Which hurts things, because that explains a lot. Because I've seen, you're going through the cable channels late at night. I've come across some copies of that film that the reprint, the reproduction quality is awful. So, I mean, that explains a lot.
We personally on the Chuckles and Laugh show, we re-showed it, and we showed it at its full HD quality. So we didn't cut or piece it apart. We just did our thing of being the horror host that I am, and that was our Halloween movie.
Yeah, I think Turner Classic Movies has a nice restored print that they'll show every so often.
Now, we're going to go down to a song very shortly, and then we'll come back and talk a little more about this, because I am kind of excited and high on Coca-Cola. Don't ever let an evil clown get a hold of Coca-Cola. It's bad. We're going to go down to the Jimmy Carroll Band here on Rhode Island Free Radio, Chuckles Crypt. People Who Die.
Cheddar sniffing glue, he was 12 years old. Fell from the roof on East 29. Kathy was 11 when she pulled the plug. 26 reds and a bottle of wine. Bobby got leukemia, 14 years old. He looked like 55 when he died. He was a friend of mine. Those are people who died. 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 They were all my friends that just died. Herbie pushed Tony from the boys club roof. Tony thought that his rage was just some goof, but Herbie sure gave Tony some bitchin' proof. And Herbie said, Tony, can you fly? But Tony couldn't fly. Tony died. Those are people who 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 died. They're all my friends and they died. Brian got busted on a narco rap. He beat the rap by ratting on some bikers. He said, hey, I know it's dangerous, but it sure beats Rikers. But the next day he got offed by the very same